I'm Cathy Howells, and I've been an amputee physiotherapist for the last 35 years. I initially worked at Royal Prince Alfred Hospital and ran the amputee unit there for about 10 years. I was mentored by some fabulous staff members there, and from that, my love of amputee work really grew. I then went into private practice, and I'm consulting now for APC Prosthetics and OSA Australia. I've been given incredible opportunities in doing this work, in that I've been able to create teaching materials, do webinars for amputees, for physios, for prosthetists. I've written a book called the Amputee Coach, and I now run mobility clinics and travel with prosthetists to do fitting to regional areas in Australia and New Zealand. I actually fell into the area. As a young rotating physiotherapist at Royal Prince Alfred Hospital, I had already completed a student unit there at the amputee unit, and then came to work in the area again. I think I'm fascinated in the actual way that the body and the prosthesis have to compensate for the loss of the anatomical limb. And I am very passionate about my role in helping those two things come together so that the amputee gets the best functioning out of that union. And I also find learning about new technology and the biomechanics of prosthetics very interesting. And I enjoy the challenge of applying that to the physiotherapy that I do with the client on that technology to optimise the outcome of their mobility on their new technology. The most common problems I see with amputees and their movement in the community is probably a lack of confidence in their own movement and their ability to use their prosthesis. Another problem would be their inability to extract the most from their componentry. And I think those sort of things come down to when I assess people, looking at joint restriction, a little bit of muscle weakness, and a lack of training on the prosthesis that they've currently got. The key to increasing your confidence is balance training. And sometimes that's a little bit skimped on in rehabilitation. I tend to take people back in my training and do really quite aggressive balance training. Good balance is not about standing stiff as a poker on your prosthesis. It's about being able to move your centre of gravity around your base of support on your prosthesis and be able to accept forces acting on you. So perhaps people bumping into you, people throwing things to you, and also for you to exert forces on your environment. So you to be able to push objects like a shopping trolley, pull objects like your wheelie bin, or generally participate in, say, a game of soccer on a sporting field. So just absorb and apply forces to and from your environment. That's good balance, and that breeds confidence in movement. Mobility provides us with freedom, both mentally and physically. It provides us with a feeling of joy in being able to get out and enjoy our environment, or enjoy our home, enjoy our garden, and enjoy activities that we like to participate in. Movement is very important for our cardiovascular system, for our joints and our muscles, and to maintain our bodies to live a healthy, long and empowered lifestyle. I think there are a number of things that amputees can choose from to do something for themselves every day that's going to have a positive impact on their health and their mobility. And these might be including things like cardiovascular exercise to improve their fitness. We know that using a prosthesis has a greater energy cost than walking without a prosthesis or walking for able-bodied people. So in fact, amputees have to be fitter than the average population to do the same amount of work or cover the same amount of distance that someone without an amputation does. Therefore, we have to train the heart and lung system to keep up with this extra demand. Some strengthening exercises as well is important to pick on a particular day so that you're strengthening your powerhouse for walking. Depending on the level of your amputation, the type of prosthesis that you're using, your physiotherapist can advise you what your powerhouse now consists of. For example, if you are a below knee amputee, you'll be needing to work on the combination of your gluteals and your quadriceps working together to power you over the prosthesis, to push you on and make your gait much more efficient, and also so that you can absorb energy much better and then apply that energy at the end of toe off so that your walking is more efficient and you actually will then use less energy to walk. Other important things to do are practice a little bit of mindfulness, which might not necessarily be related to your walking. It might be, it mightn't be. Practicing being mindful in your own body of what you need to look after yourself, taking care of your residual limb, remembering that the skin of your residual limb is under a lot of stress. It's not skin that was meant for weight bearing and to be in a tight, warm environment. So we need to take special care of that skin. When I'm working with amputees, it's very much a team effort between myself, the amputee, and anybody else we need to bring in onto that team to achieve their individual goals. So we usually have a discussion about what their goals are. Is this the right type of prosthesis to achieve that goal? If it is, we will then move on to working with that prosthesis. If not, we will look into how we might access a prosthesis that will help them achieve that goal more efficiently. When we actually start the physical work of working towards the goals, we will be doing an assessment of the body. So I will do an assessment of the patient without their limb on, so looking at their joint range of movement, how strong their muscles are, if there's any restriction in any of the key joints that we're looking, perhaps the hip or the knee, what sort of stretches we might have to do or strengthening we might have to do. I'll then get them to put their prosthesis on, see how well it's fitting, and assess how they're functioning on their prosthesis, because I'm sure that everybody out there listening to this is aware that comfort of the socket is the rate limiting factor for you in functioning on your prosthesis. If your socket is not comfortable, then it's going to be difficult to achieve higher functioning goals on your prosthesis. So first we look at that, then we look at the posture on your prosthesis, the posture during movement, and that's sort of an assessment that I do, a gait assessment, an assessment of the activity we might be working towards. So that might be whether you're trying to jog, whether you're trying to squat and lift, whether there's some exercises in the gym you're wanting to do. I'm looking at the technique that you're using to do those, whether you're wanting to jog or run, swing a golf club, do a layup on the basketball court. I will have a look at you trying to do that activity, see what's missing, and work out how we're going to put that in via an exercise program, whether that's going to a gym, that might be seeing an exercise physiologist and working out who might be best to work with you on those programs. And then I will work with that health professional to help you achieve those goals if you need to go and see them. It might be liaising with your prosthetist to see how we're going to progress you. Having just come out of our Australia Mobility Clinic in the last 2 days, it really emphasised to everybody there how important these relationships are within the team, and the team approach to getting the best functional outcomes for an amputee. And at the clinic, we had the prosthetists, the physios, and the athletes all together. And we found that as we increased the athletes functioning on their prosthesis, we might have to make some changes to that prosthesis to accommodate that improved functioning. For example, that included progression onto to running legs, where people were able to try running feet and running knees. And then during the 2 days, we found that the performance increased such that we would have to increase the height of the prosthesis. So I would work on their running technique, realise they were able to keep their hips higher, which meant we needed to lengthen their prosthesis. They went over to the prosthetic tech tent, they had their prosthesis lengthened, and then they came back to me for further training. So it's important to realise that working towards your goals will probably involve a little bit of toing and froing between team members to elevate your athletic or functioning performance on your prosthesis. I think possibly the most important things for amputees is to empower themselves. And how I would do this is realise a few things. Cliches become cliches for a reason. For example, the old one, if you don't use it, you lose it. And in relation to movement, that is especially so, and also physical fitness. If we don't keep our bodies moving, if we don't keep our hearts pumping at a higher rate, we will be able to do not as much as we want to. The less you do, the less you will be able to do. The next thing I would do is encourage you to be inquisitive. Keep asking questions of your amputee unit team or your prosthetist or your amputee physio. Is there any new improvements out there that might help me? Now, prosthetic technology is improving all the time. There are new products being released onto the market, and it just helps to prompt those people, those health professionals, to think about you in relation to these new products. Asking questions is very important. Another important question for you to consider is, can I try that componentry? Remember, you can try before you buy. A lot of prosthetic componentry companies out there offer trials so that you can really assess if that particular componentry is for you. Can you see that it's going to give you a benefit? Because the physio has taught you how to use it properly. Different componentry needs different physical cues and different training for the amputee. That's very important. And the last thing I would encourage you to do is stay in contact with your community. So with things like Limbs for Life, that provide these webinars, that give you information. Join groups on Facebook so that you can see what events are coming up. We do mobility clinics. We do clinics on the green. Come to these clinics, clinics on the waves, clinics on the snow. You might be trying something new for yourself, but more importantly, you'll be meeting new friends, new contacts, and having new experiences. And to me, that's gold. Speaking to other amputees who've been through a different journey to you, a similar journey to you, but they may have really important skills, insight, or information to give you that will help you deal with your challenges. And undoubtedly, you will have important information for them and support for them. And that in turn will give you that wonderful feeling of helping someone else.